Guys, because I have to tell you this really bizarre thing that literally just happened to me today, guys. It happened to me today. Now, it started from last night, actually. So I went to bed, asleep. I fell asleep, guys. And I recently bought, like, a day before yesterday. Maybe yesterday on its own, I bought a mirror. Now, I bought a mirror and I hanged it, like, next to me. Just admiring myself before I go to bed. But then I realized that wasn't the best choice I've ever done. And because the next morning I woke up, things seemed a bit off. Now, I couldn't comprehend immediately what it was, but it kind of felt like I was used to that. Like, it was so weird. I woke up in the morning, but things felt off. But at the same time, it feels like I remember it that way. How did that make sense? It's like I remembered it that way, guys. So it doesn't make any sense at all, guys. That didn't make any sense, guys. So, as I woke up in the morning, I'm usually facing away. So the wall is to the right side of me, because I'm facing... Obviously, I used to have like a bunk bed. Not a bunk bed, but... You climb the steps and it's just one floor at the top, but then we cut it at the bottom. I'm usually facing towards the steps where the gap is there. I usually face towards that section, but I also pull myself very low down just to be more cozier, just lower down. There, But this time, the gap was on the right side of me, and the wall was on the left. I started to... Guys, that was so bizarre now. I couldn't understand how was the wall left of me and not the right ever since I slept next to that mirror. No. I want to film alone.
Yeah, I'm going now.
Alright, well done. Okay.
I'll be outside.
Okay. So guys, that was bizarre. Can you please come on, please?
I'm going.
So guys, I began to freak out. I seriously began to freak out. I hopped out of my bed. Then I realized that I turned towards where my door was. I mean, my door was still there because it was parallel towards the angle. It was just the bed that was different. Or just a bit of the angle difference. You know how you put a mirror side to side together? Yeah, you got the same parallel angle. It felt like that. But I felt like it was a bit off. I started to look around objects. Like, see what I can see. Now, I picked up a book. I shined the book towards the mirror, guys, yeah? Now, the book that I shined it towards the mirror. And ever since that happened, I noticed that in the mirror, when you reflect writing to a mirror, isn't it supposed to be, let me see it through the camera. Yeah, it is reversed through the camera, guys. Through my camera, it looks like it's reversed. But through the mirror, it was normal. I looked at the book in real life, and then it was reversed. But for some reason, I could tell you that, guys, that was not a dream. And you'll see why, the truth about it later on. The fact that, like, I did pick up everything, and it felt more real. Usually dreams feel like more like a blur. Honestly, that dreams can become so out of focus. But during the dream, you don't realize anything of that. You just play normal, as if it's normal in the dream. But you don't. But once the dream ends, you can just distinguish of how out of focus it was. For example, but the distance is like it's like a game being out of load. Terrible vision. You can't see the word properly, and it's just bright, just like this white. It's like this white, and you're unable to tell the distance. You can't tell between distance and how far it is on the distance. This is how bad it used to be, guys, because you can't tell the distance between it. And it's just like that. That's how it used to be. But this, guys, it honestly felt the same, like I am now. It honestly felt the same. Usually in dreams, you sometimes feel like you're controlled and you can't go over. This one, I just decided to go where. I mean, because basically in dreams, you feel like you're controlled. You can't decide where to go. It feels like, somehow it feels like if you take a step, you're pushed to go that way. It feels like that. But that one, guys, wasn't controlled. I decided I was free to travel wherever I wanted in my room, even my house. I picked up some stuff, trying to extinguish everything and process my memory, my mind to process everything. And then I realized that, I mean, everything was reflected backwards in that world that I was in, but not me. To make sure, I mean, I just wrote a sign on my hand. And now before, guys, I entered the mirror. Now, before, guys, this situation happened to me, this insane thing that happened to me, guys, I wrote something on my shirt, the same shirt I'm wearing now. I wrote something on it. And it said, congratulations. Now, that was too well done for me for the mirror. And no, I just did that for just for the play or something like that. Just wrote congratulations on my shirt. But as everything was reflected and reversed, like as I'm speaking to you now, do you see the fridge behind me? That one, like right there, that fridge there. I mean, if that was like that side for me, I mean, I'm not really sure, but it probably was on the other side or something like that. I don't really remember. Everything that I saw around me was reversed writing, except the writing from my shirt. My face, the same type of, my face looked exactly the same. Except when I shined the writing towards the mirror, then it was reversed. As if all the normal stuff had been transferred here, but not all of them. Now, that was really uncomfortable for me. That was terribly uncomfortable. Now, so I thought this is going to be insane, and I may not be able to come back to reality. I moved loads of stuff. I started to bash around everything. I was just so uncomfortable, but the pain just felt so real. I remember me knocking over. I once even had to knock over that freezer thing. Let me see. Yeah, that one right there, guys. Yeah, that was pushed over. But that was pushed over by me, like what I was like, no, God, I felt so uncomfortable that it like forced my mind to just all of a sudden bash everything. It's empowering. It feels like everything was just dust on the floor, just how badly I damaged things. I didn't damage them essentially badly, but I pushed the fridge. Now, it is fine for the it is not much bit damaged, but it's a bit damaged, but I remember everything. Now, I moved loads of stuff, but I moved loads of stuff, then I fell asleep right here, guys, in my kitchen. I fell asleep right in my kitchen, but when I woke up, guys, I promise you, when I woke up, I was in the kitchen, but everything was just back to normal. Everything, guys, was just back to normal. But what really shook me is that usually I'm thinking, how did I get in the kitchen? Let me see if everyone's is okay here. So I just fell asleep in the and I woke up back in the kitchen. Back in the kitchen, guys. But everything that I've knocked over, do you remember the time I told you that the things were reflected? And honestly, things were on the other side, basically. That was the time, but because everything was back to normal, I still found out that everything was bashed on the ground. Right now, guys, some of the stuff are maybe a bit bashed for the minute. Some of the stuff may be a bit bashed for the minute, guys, but I was so scared. And how's that possible? I was clearly in the mirror world and everything comes out bashed. Now, guys, everything was back to normal. Now, I do not know what happened. Maybe me and my reflection have swapped dimensions. I do not honestly know what happened. Maybe we did actually swap dimensions with my reflection, and then he bashed that place and I bashed this one. No, he he bashed this place, and the real me bashed the other dimension, the bad dimension. And when I woke up right in the kitchen, now I didn't tell you that, guys, but I also had the camera to film the kitchen too. That when I checked back at the camera, I had 2 cameras, guys. I had one in my room upstairs and one down here. I checked the upstairs camera, and just when I'm sleeping, guys, it shows me on the camera going just disappearing. It just and that was the real footage, because I still believe I do have it here somewhere, guys. And that was the real, probably insane footage. The camera going. I checked this camera, and then I appeared from nowhere going as if I did travel dimensions. Guys, I did honestly hope that you enjoyed my story. But that was insane.